Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a big one, blockchain. It's a topic, often buried under hype and maybe some confusion. Our mission today, using some really insightful sources, is to cut through all that noise, strip away the illusions, and get to the raw reality. What is blockchain, really? What does it demand from us? We're aiming for a clarifying, maybe even a bit provocative conversation. Let's dive in.
Right, let's be absolutely clear. If you're still thinking blockchain is some kind of golden ticket, a fast track to getting rich easy, well, you're in the wrong place. This isn't a casino. Think of it more like a blade, a really sharp one. If you don't know how to handle it properly, you're going to get cut. Simple as that. Blockchain didn't show up to save you, or, frankly, to fix laziness. It came to expose truth, to show what is. So if you can handle that raw truth, stay with us. If not, maybe head out early. This needs a bit of grit.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty intense start. A blade, not a golden ticket. I like that. So if it's not the magic money machine, then what is it at its core? How do we define blockchain? Simply, get that foundational clarity you mentioned.
Okay. In its purest form, blockchain is a public, immutable, distributed ledger. And every single one of those words, public, immutable, distributed ledger, they matter a lot. Understanding how they fit together, that's the key. It unlocks the potential and maybe the dangers too. Just hearing ledger might sound, boring, like an old accounting book. But it's much more than just recording stuff. It's about completely rethinking trust online.
Right. So let's unpack that. Public, immutable, distributed ledger. Break those down for us. What does each part mean exactly? And what are the implications for us?
Absolutely. Let's take ledger first. It records things, yes, but it meticulously logs everything in order, every transaction, every piece of data. It's like a constantly growing, unchangeable record book, step by step. And public, well, that means anyone can look at it. Anyone. No secret entries, no hidden manipulations. It's all out there. This transparency, it shifts accountability. It's not about trusting some boss. It's about checking the public data yourself. That's huge for audits, for example. Then, immutable. This is where it gets really interesting. Maybe even unsettling for some. Once the data is on the blockchain, it's there forever. Can't be erased, can't be changed. Think digital stone, no undo button, no rewriting history.
Wow, okay, no undo. That's quite a concept. What about distributed?
Right. Distributed means no single person or company is in charge, no central server, no boss. Instead, this ledger, it's copied and maintained across a huge network of computers, participants, validators. They all work together to agree on what the true record is. This makes it incredibly tough to censor or hack or shut down. There's no single weak spot.
Okay, distribution and immutability. Fascinating. But how does that actually work? Like technically, you mentioned math, cryptography, consensus. How do they keep it all secure and trustworthy?
Good question. Under the hood, it's actually quite elegant. It relies on math, specifically cryptographic hashing. That's what links each block of information to the one before it, creating that chain. Makes it tamper-proof. It's secured by cryptography. This doesn't just link blocks, it also verifies transactions using things like digital signatures, secure keys. And critically, it works through consensus. The whole network has to agree on the state of the ledger. No single node can just decide to change things. It's this collective agreement enforced by code and incentives that replaces the need for, say, a bank. When you really grasp that this tech means you don't need to trust intermediaries like banks or notaries anymore. You just verify the data yourself. Well, that's when you see why things can't really go back to the old way. It's a fundamental shift in trust.
A huge shift, yeah. Trust moves from institutions to the network itself. But let's circle back to that first myth.
Yeah.
The magic formula for getting rich. It's everywhere, right?
Sure.
Blockchain equals instant wealth. How do we counter that?
Yeah, that's the first illusion to shatter, and maybe the most damaging one. Look, blockchain isn't a jackpot. It doesn't guarantee anything. It's not insurance. It's not autopilot for money. It doesn't cook, doesn't fetch beers, doesn't magically make money appear. You absolutely have to understand. Blockchain is infrastructure. That's it. Think of electricity. Is electricity wealth? No, it's raw power. You can plug in a supercomputer, build something amazing, or you can plug in a cheap toaster and, make toast.
Right.
The choice of what you build, how you use that power, that's on you. The tech itself, it's neutral, just an engine.
That electricity analogy really works, puts it in perspective. So if it's powerful infrastructure like electricity, what are the big ethical questions? You can use electricity for good or bad, right?
Yeah.
And that ties into the other big promise. Blockchain will change everything. Is that real or just more hype?
Yeah. Well, it's a half-truth, and those can be tricky. Because the core thing is, technology is just a tool. It doesn't have its own agenda. Remember the early internet? What was the promise? Freedom, right? Open information, democracy.
Yeah. definitely. That was the dream.
And what did we largely end up with? A few huge tech companies mining our data, algorithms manipulating what we see, what we think, fake news spreading like wildfire, people addicted to scrolling endless feeds, centralization in new forms.
Oof. Yeah, we can put it like that.
Blockchain has that same potential split. Absolutely. It could build real individual sovereignty, amazing transparency, truly decentralized systems. It could rebuild trust. Yeah. But it could also just repeat the old patterns. Centralization, control, exploitation, just with, a blockchain label slapped on it. It's a blank canvas. We decide what gets painted. Liberation, or just new digital pages. The tech won't choose for us.
That comparison to the internet's evolution is quite sobering. It really highlights our role, doesn't it? Okay, let's tackle another big one. Anonymity. People think blockchain makes them invisible, untraceable. Is that true?
Another fantasy, a persistent one. It's not an invisibility cloak. It's more like a pseudonym. On the blockchain, you use addresses, long strings of code, not your actual name initially.
Okay, so pseudonymous, not anonymous.
Exactly. You're known by your address. But here's the catch. The second that address gets linked to your real identity, maybe through an exchange where you did KYC, identity verification, or just through analyzing your transaction patterns, that link, it's permanent because the ledger is immutable, remember, forever.
Right, forever.
So real power in this new world isn't about hiding. It's about learning to operate carefully in a transparent environment. Knowing your actions are recorded publicly, permanently. That requires a different mindset.
So what you're really saying is this freedom it offers, freedom from intermediaries, freedom to verify, it comes at a cost, a pretty steep one.
Yes, a profound cost, sometimes a brutal one, because there's no undo. Send crypto to the wrong address. Oops, too bad. No bank helpline to call. No customer service. No one to blame but yourself if you make a mistake or fall for a scam. The accountability is absolute. It's just you.
Just you. That sounds quite daunting.
Think beyond money. What if it's a property title or medical records mistakenly transferred or logged? No agency is going to step in and fix the immutable ledger. It forces extreme diligence, self-reliance. It's a level of personal responsibility almost. Dying Spartan. And honestly, many people can't handle it. They say they want freedom, right? But they want freedom with training wheels. They want sovereignty, but also a 24/7 help desk ready to rescue them.
Yeah, I can see that tension.
Blockchain doesn't offer that safety net. It offers powerful, yes, but brutal tools. Tools that strip away your excuses. It forces you to face your own responsibility. That mirror can be harsh. It's like going from an automatic car to a stick shift. Suddenly you feel everything.
That's a great analogy. Intense, but potentially rewarding if you learn to handle it. To make this even clearer, can you give us some real-world examples? How are these concepts playing out right now?
Sure. Look at Bitcoin. Often misunderstood, called a pyramid scheme or whatever, but fundamentally, Bitcoin is a global value registry, an uncensorable one. It's a ledger built specifically to record value transfers securely. And for 15 years, it's never failed, never been hacked at its core layer, never gone offline. Trillions in value moved, securely, transparently. That's immutability, distribution, consensus working as designed, a testament to the core tech.
Okay, so Bitcoin is the foundational value ledger. What else?
Then you have Ethereum, not just another coin. It's a programmable contract network, a world computer, some call it. It allows for smart contracts code that runs on the blockchain, executing agreements automatically, no middleman needed. And Ethereum is what enabled things like dApps, decentralized applications, NFTs for unique digital ownership, and DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, new ways to govern communities online based on transparent rules.
Right, NFTs, DAOs.
Yeah.
We hear those terms a lot.
But here's the crucial point. When you see projects fail or scams happen, which they do, that's not the blockchain failing. That's humans lying, mismanaging funds, writing bad code, whatever. The tech, still neutral. It just records what happened. The failures are human failures exposed by the ledger.
That distinction is critical. The tech records, humans act.
So pulling this all together then, what does blockchain truly represent for us? What's the big picture meaning here?
Think about the old system. Traditional finance, government records, etc. You had to believe. Believe the bank, believe the government official, believe the notary. Trust was placed in these often opaque intermediaries.
Right, based on trust in institutions. Here, with blockchain, you don't have to believe. You verify. You don't have to trust. You confirm directly on the public ledger. That's the massive shift. Verify, don't trust. Confirm, don't believe. So blockchain, it's like an unbreakable mirror. It shows you exactly what was recorded. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't show you what you wish was true. It just reflects the raw data, the truth of the record.
Mhm.
And seeing that reflection, that can be quite startling. It forces a rethink.
The unbreakable mirror. That's a really striking image. It holds up reality, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, how should we engage with this mirror? What's the takeaway?
Look straight into it. Don't flinch. And ask yourself, honestly, two things. First, what's the biggest blockchain lie you used to believe? What illusion did you buy into? And second, what truth that we talked about today, stripped bare, shocked you the most? Really think about those. Because real freedom, it starts when you tear down those illusions, when you face the unvarnished reality. Remember, blockchain isn't a religion. It's not a lottery. It's not a miracle cure. It is simply a public, immutable, distributed ledger. Now, if that definition sounds small or technical, maybe you haven't quite grasped the full weight of it yet, the implications. But if it sounds giant, if that idea of verifiable, trustless truth feels revolutionary, then you're starting to see. Welcome to the ledger that never closes, the mirror that never breaks.
What a journey. Truly pulling back the curtain on blockchain.
Oh.
Thank you so much for that clarity, and thank you, our listener, for joining this deep dive. Keep verifying, keep confirming, keep exploring. We'll see you next time.